Hey, it's Avi, and welcome to. Hey, it's Avi, and welcome to music. Hey. Hey, it's Avi, and welcome to Musical Fundamentals, where I teach you the underlying mechanics of how music works, so you can better understand music, and so you can, be a better musician in junk. Why not, right? Write better music, all that stuff. Let's do it. Today we're going all the way back to basics with whole and half steps. This stuff's important. This stuff's crazy important. It's important to know this. A step is when we move from one pitch to the next pitch over, either up or down. Like this on a staff, or going between a fret or two on a guitar, like this. There are two kinds of steps that you need to know about, fundamentally. A half step or a semitone is the smallest distance that Western music theory measures between two pitches. It's the teeniest that it does. On the piano, this is when you move from a white key to a black key. Unless you're moving between E and F or B and C. Those two notes, those two sets of pitches, don't have a black key in between them on the piano. On the guitar, a half step is when we move from one fret to the next fret over, or the next fret down. As long as you're just going fret by fret, that's a half step. When working in the piano roll of a DAW, a half step is when we go from one note and right to the next horizontal line, right? And you can see over here in the piano roll down here, it's called the piano roll because there's a little keyboard right here on the end. We can see we're doing the C going to this D flat. A whole step or a whole tone is exactly what it sounds like. It's just two whole steps put together. On the piano, we're moving a whole step when we move a white key to a white key, or a black key to a black key. With the same exceptions for the E, F, and the B and C. What we have here is the E going to an F. That would be a whole step, right? Because we have because if this is a half step, then half step, whole step, then over here, B flat to a C would be the whole step there. B flat to B natural will be a half step, then another half step, B natural to C. On the guitar, a whole step will have us skip a fret over. Rather than playing just one fret over, we will skip one fret and go to the next. Like that. Instead of 3 to 4 here on the guitar on the 6th string, I'm going 3 to 5. On the piano roll, it's very, very similar. You can see we have a whole step here, C to D. You see we have a little horizontal line between them. That's how we know that it's a whole step. And we can use the keyboard here again as an example to let us know C to D, right? And remember, between E and F, that will be just one line apart because that's a half step between those two natural notes. And when we're working on the staff, you can see that our whole note will go from C to D on the staff, and we'll see a half step here go to C to C sharp. This could also be a C to D flat. That's what's called an enharmonic equivalent. An enharmonic equivalent is when we have two pitches that share the same note. This can happen based on what key you're in, what scale you're in, what order you're going, ascending or descending. There's a couple of guidelines to know about this, but that goes beyond the scope of this video.
Let's just put away the guitar.
Now that you understand whole steps and half steps, how to recognize them, what they sound like, I want you to understand why this is so important. They help you navigate instruments much more effectively, and this is especially helpful when you're learning a second or a third instrument. Whole tones and semitones are also the literal building blocks of scales. Think about them as literal Legos that we put together in different orders, creating different effects, or in musical terms, different scales with different character. Understanding whole steps and half steps and how to talk about them helps us communicate with other musicians that we're performing or rehearsing with. It represents an agreed upon unit of distance in a musical sense. Just like you can say, move that up an inch, a musician can say, move that up a step. There you have it. That's everything you need to know about whole steps and half steps, or whole tones and semitones. Use those two terms interchangeably. They mean the exact same thing. Be sure to stick around because next time we're putting our whole steps and our half steps together to create the major scale. This is the big daddy of all scales. That's a weird way to say that. Since melodies are all really just made up of steps at their core, you can level up your melody game with my free guide, 7 Ways to Write a More Effective Melody. I've helped over 1,000 people make their melodies better with this free guide, so I know it's going to help you too. I've gotten great results and great feedback from this. Head to justwritemusic.com. There's a link down in the doobly-doo. Thanks so much for watching and for hanging out with me today. I'm Avi, and don't forget to be awesome.